hautakuzuia kuongea kwa kiwanja hapo, na ataongeleza wale washirika walikuwa kwa hiyo kanisa na wale wengine walisikia atakuwa kwa hiyo eneo. Of course you have nothing to control it, but usually ministers of the one have taken control of the church. They also know, and you know when they come in, they will not be given an opportunity to share their mind or talk about the development and what they want there. And the clergy can be trusted. Those who are not going to be trusted, you can remember even during the time of Jesus, among the disciples, there were some of them who are there who were not to be trusted, but majority, 11 were trusted, one was not trusted. Even today we have one seed, this you cannot control, because previously when it was the, what you call ministry of churches, it was easy to control. Those who are within the limit of the NCCK, they can be controlled. Those who are also in the other group of the evangelical group, they can also be controlled. But there is a group of ministers who have no control. They are the holder and the finisher of their own denomination, and therefore, if they go to State House, you cannot refuse them. You cannot tell them not to go to State House. And if you want, they are working for money. And therefore, they are free because they are beyond any control within the limit of the Holy Spirit.
So maybe on exactly that point, so how can faith institutions promote accountability and ethical leadership without being drawn into partisan politics?
Number one is limit or restrict campaigns within the church. We have done that one, many of us. And also the other thing is that ensure there is a clear interreligious dialogue whereby people are talking and they agree this is the way. For me, the crunch is not the problem. The leaders whom we have, who are just members of the church, are the ones who bring in the politician, because they have their own personal interest in the name of trying to do for development or project financing. But the church can be able to be trusted, and you can promote moral authority by standing on the word of God. And we are ready, and we are practicing that one without any expectation. We can also promote peace messages to people through civic education and letting people understand the church is a holy ground. And if you are a member of the church, know that God is holy, and your members of the church must be holy. And there are people also here finding that we went the wrong way. Many have told me to define makosa. We listened to you people, you did not listen to me. You did what you asked for, and you are given what you asked for. It's not quite. During the last election, people said you want to talk. They did that for our president. They wanted somebody. They were given. So in the problem, they complain, I tell them there is no problem. You will ask God whatever you ask for, God gives you that one. So whatever you asked for, you received. So consume it. Even the children of Israel asked for a king, they were given Saul. And they suffered terribly until they started telling God, give us someone with a God's heart. And now we are asking God to give us a leader with a God's heart.
Thank you very much. We can have a colleague, Mohammed Salim. I know the word faith comes with you believing, and the politicians need people to believe in them. And that's why you find sometimes the faith-based institutions, the churches, they become like it's their walkway for people to believe in them. So how do you ensure that you draw a line between the faith, the politics, and the financial influence as we get towards the elections, to ensure that these things, they don't control each other? Because if they do, then we know how messy it can be.
Thank you very much for that question. Maybe one understanding which we must have is that politicians materials are people. That we as religious leaders, we need people to come to our house of worship. Politicians need people so that they can vote for them. So there is a competition sort of, or even maybe the government must also approach the religious leaders so that they can get their people, their followers, because they have a platform. And that's why you see politicians every Sunday, they go to churches. Why? Because in that house of worship, there will be people. That's why we see politicians also going to the funerals. Funerals are managed by pastors, reverends, bishops. People go because of their faith. And that's why a politician will go. Now, how to draw a line sometimes is very difficult. Because, one, the faith people, their work is to preach ethical things. Mambo ya haki, trust, tusidhulumu, tuwe na haki, sisi ni watu wamoja. Lakini kila katika vitendo tunajikuta wengine labda katika kama watu wahubiri au na watu wa dini hatufuati zile itikadi za yale tunazungumzia. Lakini tunafaa, kwa sababu one thing is that in our country, one question we must ask ourselves is, are Kenya citizens responsible? You know, when the man was talking here, people were not asking about how is she going to help for them to improve social welfare or their social stability. They were asking her for money. So now the question is, which we must ask ourselves, are we responsible as Kenyan citizens? Do we have the interest of this country at our heart? Instead of asking a politician to be accountable, you're asking for money. Instead of asking the politician how is he going to provide good governance, we are asking for money. So the question is, how responsible are Kenyan citizens? Because this issue of money, slowly, and we have seen it here, that one man influence a lot. Mommy, as she's saying, I'm worried. I don't have the money. People with money might beat me. They might be favored in the nominations. You see? Now that is the problem. Lakini sisi kama wabelgia kazi yetu ni nini? Kazi yetu ni kuonyesha watu katika haki. Tunafaa kuzungumzia mambo ya service delivery. Tunafaa kuzungumzia mambo ya accountability. Tunafaa kuzungumzia mambo ya haki. So that we have two books in our hands. We have the Kenya Constitution, we have the Quran, we have the Bible. Sasa wewe uko katikati. Unafaa kupreach Constitution ya Kenya vile inasema. Kuna values ambayo article 10 imesema. Kuna mambo ya article 38, freedom ya kuchagua unamtaka, freedom ya kujiunga katika chama cha kisiasa. So hapo unaona, na upande huu mwingine naye kuna watu wanatumia bribes ambaye ni si, wanatumia hongo ambaye ni dhambi. Sasa wewe uko katikati, unafaa kuhubiri Article 10 of the Kenya Constitution na unafaa kuhubiri mambo yale ambaye ni dhambi kutokana na amri ya Mwenyezi Mungu.
So, briefly, I don't know what are some of the practical approaches that can be used to strengthen the civic education and the voter responsibility, especially at the grassroots level, to ensure that the voters know all these things that we are talking about.
Well, it's very important. One thing is that most of the churches, we partner with the civil societies. They are expert in matters of constitutionalism, so we have to partner with them to provide civic education. We have to partner with IBC to give voter education so that now our people can be informed. And we can use our platform. We can use our house of worship as a venue to provide voter education and civic education. Because without being informed, somebody cannot participate. I've been always telling the county government or the state officers that when you invite somebody for public participation and he doesn't come, what are the reasons? There's nobody can participate on something which he or she does not know. Unanita kwa budget process. I don't have any idea of about what budget process is. How will I contribute? You are calling me about counter integrated development plan. I have never seen it. I have never contributed. What will I say? So what I'm saying is, we as faith institution, we have to partner with IBC, we have to partner with the civil society, and we have to partner also with the government, because yesterday we were in a public participation. We were very few. You were there yesterday. It was so in most of public participation, there are very few people attend. The attendance is very low. Why? Two things. Are Kenya responsible? They want to be given money to attend. Two, do they have the information? Was the public participation conducted in the correct manner? A Kenyan citizen does not have any information. You call him for cyber crime intervention. Anakuja kusema nini? Haujampa information mwanzo. Na hivyo na commissioner, hii ndio sisi tunapigania. Tunasema wacha tupewe information ya public participation earlier before the public participation. Tumekuwa juzi na public participation actually on public participation bill. How many people were in that room? Very few. Kenya themselves could not even come and say how do they want a public participation to be conducted in Kenya. So we have to tell the parliament, look here, Wakenya wanataka mwalimu wakija hapa. Watu wametumia pesa zao, wamewacha kazi zao, wametumia gharama kuja hapa. Nyinyi mnalipwa, mko katika mishahara. Hata ukitoka siku yako imejaa, lakini na mwananchi haijajaa. Anaacha ng'ombe, anaacha duka, anaacha nini, atakuja. Kwa hiyo badilisheni hii bill, muongeze hapa. Pili, inform people. Wawe na information wanataka kwa vipi. Kwa ufupi, yangu ni kuwa sisi kama wanadini, viongozi wa dini, tunaaminika, we have the power, and that's why politicians come to us, but we have to regulate ourselves. And we are saying, even the faith institution should have their account audited 3 months before the election. Tuje tuone sasa akaunti yenu ilikuwa na shilingi 200,000, sasa iko na milioni 10. Where did you get this money? And what are the purpose? Na kama mnataka kwa pesa to announce hii pesa nimepata shilingi milioni 1 ni ya kujenga madrasa, na mtu fulani na fulani ndio atajenga madrasa kuanzia next month. We must also have to be transparent.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I know all these things, as you can listen, they are all coming to us as Kenyans. And there is a statement I'd like as we listen, you tell me whether it is right or wrong. It's a statement you have heard. Tumesikia wanasiasa wakisema so times we have seen being forgotten in some of key areas. So, what policy reforms do you feel needs to be done to ensure there is a meaningful representation of people living with disabilities, and to ensure that there is that access to information, access to physical places where every other Kenyan is going, and to ensure that you can fully participate in your democratic right?
I'll start on the reverse. Number one, on the accessibility. When we talk about accessibility, we should all know that disability is not inability. There are people with means and there are people with various abilities. And they can perform and they can be able to do whatever is required. When we talk of about the accessibility, we are talking about how that person reach the destination of what is planned. When you come to the elections, number one, let the disability know their rights, know how to access and choose their leaders, and where to choose their leaders. 2, let them be able to reach the destination of the stations where they are supposed to vote. And number 3, let them know that they have power to choose their leaders. Because that's the only two about us. The only power you have is you have a vote so that you can elect the person that you want to lead you in the next coming session. Please love them and help them, and they will be able to do whatever is required. Let's come to the policy bit. As of now, before May 2025, disabilities need and know how to do what they want to do, whatever is required of them are their rights. But since then, Act number 4 of 2025 was enacted, relating to all matters and the privileges relating to disabilities in Kenya. We have an act in force. And this one has given all the requirements in the policy relating to disabilities. If our regional officers no copy, tell me to try to help you to get a copy of the Disability Act so that you can be able to go on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I would like us now to, because I can see time is flying so fast, I want us to go into the last round, and as also we conclude, as we give your concluding remarks, and I will start with the IEBC. We can pass it to IEBC. I know you have just done the voter registration, the voter registration exercise. I don't know how it was because there were challenges of marginalizing this. So I don't know what is IEBC doing to ensure that voter registration access those marginalized areas is still effective, and also for youth, PWD, as you have heard him speaking, and also there are a lot of electoral districts that come in towards the election time, immediately after election. So the trust of Kenyans lingers around during that time. So I don't know what the IBC doing this time to ensure that how those disputes are solved. Kenyans will trust in IBC because you are the key determinant of the democracy of Kenyans.
Thank you for the question. I will begin the riverside. That is public trusts. The Commission has engaged various people. We have voter educators who are giving voter education on the processes. And we are not giving voter education during election. We are coming before. If during the just concluded enhanced voter registration, we had voter educators who are giving the public the required voter education. We have other organizations which support the Commission in ensuring citizens get the right information. We have monitors who monitor our process, and Raia Trust. We are able to deliver a credible election on public trust. Always, we are ready as a trace choose to arrange registration on the register. The Commission has tried to ensure the register is accurate, it is audited, to ensure in 2027 we don't have issues of register arising. The Commission has also added security features in the register which were not there in the year 2022. An example, previously we never had capture. Even biometrics were not there when we began our system, and even capturing the face. All these features we are adding, they are for security. And that is the reason why we are saying this time round, election will not be manual. It will be biometric. For those who have come to do change of the station or change of particulars, involving biometrics. Unlike before, when the election was manual. And even in the process to ensure that the public trust is there, we want the public itself to come to our offices, ensure they are checking the accuracy of our register. We are putting it in public domain, all the information which are relevant to the public through our website. If you want to get any information, you can go to our website, ibc.or.e. All information pertaining to the Commission is there. Even the status of our registration, which we have just concluded. How are we able to register the number and the percentages and our targets? On top of that, we are involving our key stakeholders. We have state and non-state actors. We are even involving the religious organizations, persons living with disability. We have already conducted meetings with them. And we are trying to look for the best way we can address the issues raised. On the issue of
actually, one of the key issues that I would like also, Kumbuka 2022, the issue of Fungua Sapa, is a very important issue that made a lot of mistrust with IEBC. Because kufungua saba, is it a political perception or is it a reality? And now that we get started to the 2027, misinformation will be a lot there.
Yes.
And since we're using technology, also Kenyans also have technology, and they use the issue of the AI, the issue of very bright young Kenyans. You know how possible it is for that information. So what are you going to ensure that despite the technology, also there is that trust and the some of you come and the perception.
I think Kenyans need to know the results are final. Harassment before we the results from the polling state. Some years back, I was returning officer in one of the constituencies in Embu County, and before even they announced the results, they knew who were the MP, the MCS for various ones. So even before announcing results, like 4 hours before, all the aspirants or candidates who had won the election were in the turning center with their supporters, waiting for them to be declared as winners. So when we hear servers are not open or what, Kenyans know the truth. Because during election period, we have the agents, we have election observers, both internal and external. The QNDP, UN, they come in this country to do observation. And when before we conclude the process, we give a report. So the stories of servers, it's because when someone loses the election, it is very painful. So accepting is a challenge. The commission does it's wrong. And even the candidate won last year election, in case he wins, he loses next year, 2027, we say the election was stolen. How were they stolen? And you are able to declare you a winner in 2022. Did you install the election in 2027? You know the commission, we have an unit which we always protect. We are very impartial. We ensure our processes are carried in a transparent way. That is the reason why if today you come in my office, I will be able to explain to you, show you all what pertains to you. We don't disclose voters' information, but we can give you numbers of registered voters, how many in this polling station, and that story.
Thank you.
The issue of server,
Yes.
you always ask, was the server opened or was the server closed? Remember, the server is just, and it is like an anti-disk. The way you store information, what you give in is what is there. If you have your Form A's service original, if they cannot be doctored, and remember the Form A results or the polling station results are final in the Constitution and in the Election Act. We cannot change. When we go to court, we are only questioned about Form A, even if we have errors. That is the reason why you see when we are doing election in Very South, and currently there is a pending petition in court, what was being asked? The results from the polling station, not the constituency Form B. It is from the polling station, and that is what is there in the server. The PO transmits results before he or she leaves the polling station. He only answers to us the original Form A. Is it okay? So we need to allocate others. Form A result, the polling station results are final. And the officer can choose the Form A, including the National Returning Officer. Is it okay? And political parties, remember, they are agents. And even the Nature's Group, you monitor our election process. That is the reason why when I'm in the turning center, I will see someone from NCCK coming to monitor what I'm doing there. So are these people observing and they are not questioning our process? Coming to dispute it at the end. If you have a claim, you need to raise it to Mapema. see, after election, we are saying the election was rigged, it was not like this. As IBC, we have people who are registered to our voters. At this time, we have already begun the process of educating our stakeholders who are the voters and even assisting us in the election process. On disability, we have not forgotten you. We have given you slots like in the just concluded registration. People with disability were our clerks, at least in every constituency, if there was an applicant who was given a chance to work with us. In terms of assisting those people living with that disability, during continuous voter registration, which meant the enhanced voter registration, we ensured we have collaborated with the other stakeholders to identify areas where disability were, and clerks were sent there to ensure they have registered in the comfort of their homes. Come 27, still, we are taking care of disability. We will ensure that they don't come to the polling station and stay there for long. They only pass the queue and they are allowed to vote immediately so that they can go back. Even if they have been there, you know, some people with disability, they come in the polling station, they don't identify themselves. They go sit down. So when the PO is there, you cannot know whether someone living with disability is in the queue, because that person has already come, he was brought by someone, and then that someone has to go and rest there. You need to tell us that there is this person with disability. How can he or she be assisted? And then immediately the PO will be able to assist you. Then this issue of youth. Come this time, we have received great support from the youth, especially where I work in municipality. The youth for higher institution of learning, they mobilized themselves. And they earned their own banners. We don't know who funded them to have the banner. They were asking, sisi tuko kali, je wewe? And they were getting other youths, even from the street, to come and register. For us, it was very easy to register, especially in North Image constituency. Because of them, that is the reason why we were able to achieve a target of 120%, which is new registration, which was a very commendable job. Actually, over 13,294, it was not easy. But these youth were mobilizing themselves. So tulikuwa tunaambiwa, hata hapo kwa office, they used to receive a call from a unknown number. Kindly, madam, can you send some clerks here? We have youth who needs to register. Na hata stakeholders, nyinyi watu wa kanisa mlitusaidia sana. In total?
Number of voters we have
In Kenya. You know, in the previous registration, currently we are maybe approaching, give me time, because we are still doing registration, and numbers will still keep on handling. Even today, we are doing continuous voter registration. Na ile kitu nataka kuambia ni there is something that Kenyans don't know. Registration process is a continuous process. Even after enhanced voter registration, we have continuous voter registration process taking place in our offices, in our Huduma Center, and in anniversary towers. So voters wanapata ID, citizens when wanapata ID, wasisema wanangoja until maybe next enhanced voter registration. Wapitie tuko ofisi wapewe kura. Ndio process inaendelea. Na hata kubadilisha itabadilishwa mahali unataka kwenda. Kuna wale wengine when in the previous election walienda wakamiss the register. Even we are insisting to them, they come in our offices, we check on the status, alafu we will advise them accordingly. Na verification, msingoja wakati ule tunasema ni verification, you can verify even now. Si sawa? And the NCCK has developed our way to verify. Just type the name, verify at NCCK, and you'll be able to find the details. See, office si sawa. Their voting status. Come to atapotea register na kuna mwenye atapotea. Si sawa. If you are verified, you will be in the register. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. I want to go the Deputy County Commissioner. Time is on our side and we are run of short ones. I have just 3 questions that I know they are just in the street answers. One, what accountability mechanisms are being placed for misconduct by security personnel during the election? And also, what are the local administrators doing to stop being mobilized as campaigners for the pro-government officers? We have seen sometimes you find the NCCK is the one or the chief is the one who is mobilizing the people for a certain leader. Because they fear or they think this is a person that sees him somewhere. So what is the administration going to ensure that you become like the head of security but not the head of the political campaign? And also, how is the police collaborating with communities and other stakeholders to build trust during the elections? I know you're going to be very brief on the as you conclude.
I will start with the last one. If there is what we call the police a public partnership, or whereby we partner with the public in terms of ensuring that the right thing is done. So to ensure that there will be no issue of violence, there's no issue of practice, we are trying to partner with all the stakeholders, including the community, to ensure that the right thing is done. So we are, even this issue of violence, it can emanate from the community, the aspirants, the officials, so that all of us to ensure that we are doing the right thing. We partner to ensure that the right thing is done. The issue of administrators, or rather the local leaders, being the promoters, okay, on daily basis, we are talking, or rather we are encouraging the administrators to follow what you call the code of conduct, but also to apply professionalism. It's professional to do what is not minded for you to do. So if you are a chief, if you are what admin, you know what is required of you when it comes to the issue of being done. So in our barazas, in our meetings, in our security, we encourage all the administrators to ensure that they do the right thing, to be a person, to apply neutrality in their conduct of their business.
Thank you very much. We have the IPC, the Media Council. I know we have the code of conduct for the media houses, for the journalists, that you are the one, the place that regulates them. So how can the media be better balance freedom of expression with while maintaining the peace? Also, what will media data national levels, and also ensuring that they are not in control, because we know some media houses, they are politically involved and that have a lot of influence. But how is the media council ensuring that despite such things, there is the trust and there is the peace and there is also good governance in those media houses as you conclude?
Thank you. I can see our colleagues on my chocolate already. I'll be very brief. Just as a little spoiler kusoma mood, unabaki ukiongea peke yako huko juu. Yeah. So I'll try and be very brief, but also try and address the questions. I will start from the start. The first question about what should the media actually do in regards to the report, but also maintaining this. And I think we have we could have lawyers that are friends to us. They will always remind us that we very right comes a responsibility. And that's why sometimes you hear people say, pale right yako inaishia, nyingine inaanza. Articles 33, 34 and 35 of the Constitution respect the freedoms and the rights of journalists. 33 speaks of freedom of expression. 34 on freedom of media. 35 on access to information. However, when you look at articles, you also notice that comes with each of these rights. And when you look at the code of conduct for media practice, it clearly stipulates that while we as journalists, while we as the media, we do enjoy the rights and the freedoms of expression and the freedom of the media, there are also responsibilities that come with them. Among them, and key to this panel discussion, the maintenance of peace in our country. Whenever we're talking about peace in our country, or peace in general, we often use the example of Rwanda. In 1994, a station called RTLM was used to spread messages of hate among the Hutus and the Tutsis that led to the death of over 800,000 people, displacement of millions of people, and to date, the scars of the genocide in 1994 continue to be amongst us. Let's come closer to 2007. 2007, 2008, one journalist was named as a suspect for crimes against humanity, and he was among the ICC 6. You remember? Yes. That was, and when you look at the charges that were against him, were that he had used, it was alleged that he had used his station and one of the shows that he had called Leneme to spread messages of hate against other communities. Whenever we talk about the power and the responsibilities of the media, we also speak about what that power and what that right can also do if it is misused. And that is why you will notice when on the numbers I was telling you about, over 400 stations, over 400 radio, and over 300 radio, and over 50 television stations, a majority of the owners of most of these stations are politicians. Because they know when you media with you can run a narrative. And that is why we as an institution, as the council, we have been at the forefront. One, to build the capacities of our journalists, reminding them that while you may be attached to XYZ TV or XYZ radio station, when the responsibility comes on what did you do on that station or on that show, it will come down to you. And mind you, you do not need to tell people, wake up and go and deal with one community. I'll give you an example. And I think for those that were keen with the post-election violence, there was the Waki report. When you read the Waki report, one name that is right now, the name in that report, right now she's one of the leading politicians in our country. At that time, she was a journalist. And she had a very vocal show in one of our community stations. Then one morning, during one of her shows, she actually went on air and said she wants us to pray. And when she was praying, she prayed in mother language, and she was saying, where are you? Mungu uko wapi na watu wetu wanaisha. Ameambia mtu achukue panga, ameambia mtu achukue jembe ama achukue kitu. Amesema nini? Watu wetu wanaisha. And what is she doing? She is praying. So mtu akimshika amwambie ulikuwa na spread, atasema hapana, mimi nilikuomba nilikuwa na. Have you seen the power that radio has or TV? So even we as members of the clergy, we may stand on a pulpit, hatutasema msivotie huyu ama msifanye hii. But the choice of our words can actually inform some of the decisions that come. So as an institution, we have a big responsibility. And I remember when we were having the meeting with the IEBC, we were saying that in the run-up to elections, kuna watu wawili huwa wanatafutwa sana, IEBC na media. Because during those days, watu huwa watoki kwa TV ama kwa radio, because they want to know what is happening. And with that responsibility comes a lot of weight on us as journalists to be very careful, even with the utterances that we take. The second question was about accountability. How are we able to put leaders to account and tusiambiwe tuna inject ama tunawasalimia, isn't it? It is true. And I know you have read newspapers over time. You have noticed that there is one newspaper that siku hizi ina deal na watu mzima mzima, sio? And when you talk to them, they will say, no, we are doing our watchdog role. What is our role as the media, as watchdog? But then again, we should always be mindful. Because kuna mtu alisema, ukichoma hii nyumba, si mimi peke yangu ndalala nje. Tutalala nje sisi wote. Okay? And that is the message that we're putting out to the media. That even as we are doing our responsibility to inform, to educate, to entertain, that right comes with the responsibility. Tusichome kesho, tusichome Kenya, because tunahitaji kesho.
Thank you. I have some extensive this one. And I like you to just read on some of this, because there are the key issues that are coming up, and they will affect so much the generation that are coming. Remember that you have issues of the IDs being said that they are being given to the Kenyans, to those who are in the refugee camps. There is that issue. So I don't know, is it a plot for election rigging? Because we are through the elections are a process. Na kuiba kura inaanzianga mapema. So you can tell us on that whether you know of it, is it something that a matter in your office, in the institution? And also, in the previous elections, where cases of police stations that were shifted from one location to, you remember the case of a police station that was in a primary school that was full of, like it's never existed. I think Rift Valley areas, a police station, it's somewhere that doesn't look like it exists in a primary school. Probably maybe you're shifted into another location for maybe security purposes. So are those intentional format of rigging elections? And also, because some even say you are not there.
Now I can respond to the question, and then you ask the third one.
Okay.
Because you don't any questions,
Yeah.
I need 10. Once again, you know it is not the responsibility of the IEBC for NCCK to issue voters card. We have a concerned department. The registration of persons office is responsible for that. But us as IEBC, we are given rights to register voters who are Kenyan citizens or they have valid passports. Those are two documents which you use in the registration. So if you tell me someone is registered as a Kenyan citizen, and I as an IEBC official, do I have that right to tell this person you're not a Kenyan citizen? Am I the one who issued that identification document? The response is no. As long as this person has a valid identification document, it qualifies to be registered as a voter. Question number 2, non-existing polling station. Always the commission gazettes registration centers and the polling station. So it is the responsibility of the returning officer and the public to ascertain whether those stations exist. And at no time, commission can gazette as registration center which doesn't exist. Either when we are given dues by our stakeholders that we earn a certain polling station. And us as the commission, we go there and we check whether that station is there or whether it is existing. Like now, we are adding new polling station depending on the needs of voters. So now an existing, first, does that station have a voters register? Were you able to ascertain whether they had a valid voters register? If it was there, that means voters went and registered in that station.
But I know it's things that you have heard from Kenyans, so I don't know whether have they ever been part of the discussions in your corridors, and is it a matter of concern because the Kenyans, it has already been registered to them.
Like the way you can receive an information which is not correct, and you as public, you tend to believe it is correct, but IBC has its own processes of ascertaining the stations. That is the reason why we put them in the Kenya Gazette and publish for the voters to check all their stations are there. Yes.
So, remember previously, during the previous time, when the issues of combat, ballot paper, tushafuka flag. Lakini sasa, huyu commissioner, huyu pia mwenye hapa, huyu mwenye anagaidi hapa, flags and few, najazwa. Remember those stories? Do we have such things right now?
I cannot recall such incidents because the reason why candidates are told to have agents is for them to look at the process taking place in the polling station. And remember, as we don't even post people who know that area because we do our own ways. Maybe if you come from Ward A, we send you to Ward G, and you don't know. We know in the evening when we are posting you. And again, our ballot boxes are very transparent. They are not like NCCK ballot papers. You can see everything which is being done. And then in the closing of the polling station, the agent and other people, even the candidate present, they see the sealing of the aperture. And during opening, they are there to see the process of opening and signing the PSD. We have a legal document which is there. It is signed during opening and closing of the polling station. So now when you tell me PO is flagging, I don't understand. Because the agents are there. The candidates are there. Observers are there. What is their work? And at no time have we ever received in the office a complaint that the PO from agent that the ballot papers were being stuffed there. But when one loses, that is the time when we receive complaints. And that is the reason why the media has told you, you'll get information, some are not true. So kindly don't take them, just ignore them. Because even during training, we tell candidates, can you bring your agent for training? Can you ensure your agent are there in the polling stations? It is not IBC staff who conduct the election, it is being observed by others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and asanteni sana. So I know we have so I want us to do just a close examination or engagements, maybe a few questions briefly, so we can have maybe one or two questions, and so we can have maybe the first few questions, then we get back.
I want to help you to frame questions to IBC because I think you're missing how to frame the proper questions. IBC do not have a wrong or wrong police stations, whatever, or fake police stations. What is very practical is displaced polling stations. To me, it's IBC versus security. The displacement of persons due to security pressures, yes, can affect how people want to vote. Because when they move away from a designated polling station or a registered polling center, the truth is they may not be able to vote, and that now affects elections. Question number 2, she will respond to it. The other scenario will be under registration. Right now they are carrying what they are calling intensive registration of voters. If one personnel is charged to do that activity in one ward, there could be design that a certain community or a certain area is targeted for under registration of birth. Thank you very much. Those who are comfortable for it.
Thank you very much. I don't know.
Fortunately, I don't see the personnel from Tarakanip pushes from them. That is a common problem in Tarakanip.
Is it a common problem in it?
Now, you know, during recruitment and even during posting of those skills kit, there is something that we do. We group them with the area. And then we do what we say it is a kind of a plan. For now, the kit movement schedule. So we ensure the chiefs, we involve the chiefs and other leaders during arranging the kit movement schedule. And we ensure all people are able to register in those areas. But unfortunately this time, we are given 2 kits, 3 per ward. And remember there are wards which are quite large.
It's a big goal.
Now,
And when you ask the question, they'll tell you budget. That's the answer I receive.
now you
Because I have engaged you a lot in this matter.
yes, now as the commission,
Yes.
you know now we are beginning the first ECVR. This was enhanced voter registration. And we have the other one which we call continuous voter registration, which takes place with our constituency offices. So in this enhanced voter registration, remember the budget we are given was very little. We were only able to only 3 kits per ward. And maybe in your area, it was covering more than 200 kilometers.
We need
But-
to do that.
But now, we are trying to address the challenge because through which movement schedule, all areas were reached. The problem yet, it is not the way we wanted it to be. It was reached maybe once or twice. But in the coming ECVR2,
It will be good.
it will be improved. That is a concern which was raised to the commission and we are trying to address it. And then the issue of registration center, again is limited. Maybe voters are registered here and they find themselves they are in another registration. This can be dealt with by ensuring voters are going to verify their details. If they find they are in the wrong places, they can come to the NCCK offices or during enhanced voter registration, they can be transferred to the nearest police station. There was an issue which was raised in the previous meeting. The NDC said it would try and look. Transfers cannot be done in the field. They are attached to only returning officer and deputy returning officer and in their constituency office. And the process is using internet. And our machines are connected to the constituency internet. That is the reason now why the transfers and change of particulars were not able to do them in the field. But the commission is still taking consideration to see how we can go and transfer those people. We hope it will work.
So.
Yes.
Thank you. So,
Let's pray for proper improvements.
Thank you.
so I would like to have a reference and then later we can have a division.
Yes, thank you. Mine is also to IBC. I think to me, I would like to say that people need education. They are saying about education. Not all of them will get information about the registration and about the voting. So my request is, if the time can be increased to deal with those people machinally, can be the registration and the know-how of the voting can be also increased, so that you can get what you want, and the registration you get what you want. You can even tax a number to remain there machinally and continue, or you increase the days of those what you have done, like what you have done now, you multiply with the time. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I would like to ask someone else a question so that our IEBC rep is able to maybe take a break. My question will be to Salim and Kamam, where you can both answer. My main concern is we are heading towards the 2027 elections, and as we all know, in Meru County, we only have one elected, right? One elected MCA woman out of the 45, which is a decline. The others are nominated, they are under affirmative seats. They're not people who are, they're nominated, sorry. So, how can civic education enhance women participation? I know at least were forced, and I think even IEBC, from their clerks, they've had that tukienda kwa ground or ukienda huko mashinani, many women do not have, they don't even know which polling station to choose, they don't know where they want to vote. And we also have an opening right now for young people. Wanasema tunachukua kadi, hatujui tunapigia nani, lakini tutajua mbele. So how does also the religious institutions, the partnership with civic educators, I know IEBC cannot directly influence young women participation, but they can make information available. You come out sasa tuingie kwa ndani political parties and to understand you in a political party and you maybe understand the few things that you do as a first-time voter. What can we do to enhance, to strengthen, women's or young women's also participation? Najua tumetoka na conversations on gender, but it's still important because wanawake wanabaki kuwa the majority of the population. So how do we leverage on different opportunities like civic education and other strategies, and which are those strategies that we can use to make sure that Meru County, ile trust yenye imekuwa diluted from the leadership that we had started kuongea sana, how do we move past that into making people believe that women can take up these governance spaces and these processes, and kila mtu akuwe effectively involved na participate meaningfully. Thank you.
We start with the IBC, you also Bumsiki or we can even start with the IBC.
Thank you. There was a question raised on the voter education. This time round, or whenever we have an activity, we always employ voter educators who give the public the voter information, and we also engage the media. Maybe this time round mmekuwa mkiona commissioner wetu kila wakati kwa TV wanaeleza, even in the local FM wamekuwa, even as a staff tumekuwa kwa TV tukiulizwa maswali tunajibu na tunajaribu kueleza wapiga kura wanaweza fanya nini. On the number of days zile za registration, najua hiyo ni the commission decision depending with financial strength yenye wako nayo, they make decision depending on that. But for like this ECBR, we had 30 days. But we really tried to ensure our public was aware of what we are doing, and even the coming activities, we ensure voters are educated. And we publish many things. Tunakuanga hata na flyers, tunakuanga na posters. Sumasiona. We really do a lot in that field. Voter education, we have a department in headquarters and inashughulikia hiyo. And kila wakati they give the public some flyers, some posters. Yes. And always feel free to come to our constituency offices to inquire. Those offices are public offices, na kila mtu anafaa awajibike, na hiyo ni responsibility yake kama ako na swali kuingia kwa hiyo ofisi na kupata jibu. Kuna watu wengine wanasemaka hapana, hiyo ofisi watu hawaingiangi, hakuna ofisi yenye ni ya serikali. Hauwezi ukaingia na ulize swali lolote na uelezwe. Si sawa? Na kama hujaridhika still, we can find to a higher office. So we have the county offices. Lakini ni lazima to make sure umeridhika. And let's all of us be voter allocators. Kupata information, inform another person. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Kamama, can we assume maybe that that be one of the last, or is there any other burning question?
Only one.
Okay, so then let's start on that. We have him and him as the last one, please. Because of time. Yes.
Okay, thank you again. I realized that you even asked me a question previously and I didn't even answer on the gender towards in politics. I can say that it is becoming very difficult to deal with that because now you realize that political goodwill and resistance from politics is training the two-third rule, because now in some aspect they think that women in politics are done favors, but it isn't. Because now you realize that historically the politics favors male leadership, and I think that is wrong. Personally, I think that is wrong. In addition to her question, I can say that women we are left out. I don't know whether we are just getting discouraged by intimidation and violence across the communities, whereby we start thinking of leadership in our own communities. Because now, if you say that only one woman is elected as a MCA, I think there is no rule that shows that how women should not vie. I should think that it is out of fear of whatever that is happening in politics. It needs someone who is courageous enough, someone who can stand by what maybe she means when she says that she's ready to lead, she's ready to encounter all those political hassles and what have you in the field. I don't know whether maybe the IEBC officer can tell us whether, like in our county, which is Meru County, whether we are limited to vie for those MCA seats. But for women, one thing I know for sure is that finances, intimidation, and violence is the most key that is killing the youth and women leadership in our community. Again, as I said that leadership in Meru or maybe in any other community, it has been subjected to males. And now you realize even when you walk alone, you competing with other men, you realize even financially they are well off than the men's side. And now the voters already know that is maybe that leaders. We let money, we leave leaders at home. Because now the real leaders even have money, some of them in majority. And now on the other side you realize that whoever has money, mostly, I think hata nyumbani, up to date, you realize that maybe the dad or the father figure at home is the one who provides everything at home in the name of they have more money. Even in politics, it is the same. Men have money, women doesn't. So when it comes to leadership and campaigns, you realize they are ahead because of money and using poverty as a key benefit for them to win the election. I think I should end there.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have Suke, I don't know. Is it a challenge that we are trying to force into Kenyans? Is there a way to track it? Because even the National Assembly was unable to run this issue with that general.
Thank you. Maybe the first question was about civic education. Maybe as a civil society, how do we provide our civic education? One is that we have three types of civic education. We use the media, first the messages to the citizen. We also do face-to-face or mass civic education. And that we also document where people can read. One is that from experience, most of our participants in civic education are women. You'll find maybe out of a group of 20 people or 50, 80% of participants are women. And so we're asking ourselves, if more people who receive civic education are women, then why don't they not use their sovereignty power to elect other women? That is the question which has been bothering us. Secondly, we have found in Kenya, we had a woman presidential candidate, 2 of them. But when you look at the quotas of these 2 presidential women candidates received, were very little compared to women population in Kenya. So we don't want to say that women are enemies of their own, but they have a big opportunity. If they want to change, you do it. If you want to change, you can do it very easy. Now, the question was about
It's on the same, just the same of that gender rule. Is there a way to
yes.
it?
Then remember there's the balance. That's why maybe the gender role came about. Because like what Kamau she said, men have the money, they have the muscle, they have the capacity, they have the knowledge than us. Okay? So we said, okay, Kenya decided, let's have the two that gender in our assemblies. So if we vote more men, we nominate women. And if we vote more women, we nominate men. But now, the experience from those who have been following the performance of our legislators at the parliament, the people who speak a lot. So they don't even talk about their women. It is men who talk about the women. Then they are there, they were nominated, and they don't talk. So it's very unfortunate scenario, but we in Kenya have to change so that now they can start speaking about their issue. They can even vote for their own women. If the women won't come on who you are Peter Leo, atapita.
Previously, we elected a woman as a governor in Meru County, and she was impeached by men. So what are you saying?
It's okay. You have 10. Let's impeach it too. And the people who are in front line to give evidence for that governor was who? Our women NCCK. She's the one there with all the information, kneeling down the governor.
She was paid.
So what I'm saying here is that women, you have power. Sovereignty power belongs to the people of Kenya through voting. You have the majority. You have the majority.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I know it's a very heated debate.
Even the government is the political system, it has become a bit difficult to do that general on that upper level of management. On the lowest level, on subordinate, you can employ anybody to sweep and wash the rooms and water. But on higher level management, you discover even in the government and in the private sector, majority are men. The reason being, men have courage and confidence to do dare the devil. But women, when you tell them dare the devil, they shrink
Compromise.
And they compromise and even when they are given the opportunity to open card, they are not ready to utilize the open card.
Let me tell you something.
Just hold on. Women have the right and all the privilege. It's okay. Women have all the right and the privilege to lead because they are many, but they don't agree. They follow only men. If they are willing to agree to elect one of their own, they can get all the seats and men will be left behind. But because they want to follow somebody, the culture, someone that's with the one there, the culture, that men lead, others follow. We have a problem which we need to resolve by asking our dear sisters to take courage, be confident what you want, and you'll be given what you want. Because the card is open, even in the church, there are very few who are willing to take positions because they don't want to have the challenges. Again, they say politics is a dirty game. If you are carelessness, procedure, processes, men lead.
Forgive me for chiming in.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that we will have to say that because we have lived in a society that for years has neglected the culture for so long. And it's very unfortunate if we get to a level where we have now normalized it to say that they cannot. It's very unfortunate. And I would say this because one person that has believed in the power of women empowerment. At the height of COVID, believe you me, reports and research has been done. Countries that were led by women leaders were able to handle pandemic and crises better than countries that have been led by male counterparts. I think it's a culture that we need to change, and it will start with the leaders that we have in here. If the clergy are the same people that are pointing fingers and saying, how wamekata, we are heading into a very long place. Okay? So I think it has to start in here, that it is us to say that for years the woman and the culture has been neglected for so many years, and it is us to change that narrative. Because when you look at a young lady in her and we say that she has already, she's facing and like who you are.
Sure. Before we do this, I want to do this. I want you to tell me with your silence. Kama tunakwenda kwa tulizo swali lingine ama tunakulipa.
The latest round speak, please.
No, let's do this but for also to be asked. Just only two. I know you are going to be just.
IBC, with the culture of corruption and bribery, I feel the IBC has let Kenyan down. Because there's a rule that if you are caught bribing voters and even using money, you are disqualified from participating in the elections. From 1963, we have never had IBC disqualify these people who participate in bribery. And now, it has gone to a level that is alarming. It has reached to a level that our sister says she is being intimidated when you are sitting on the position. It is coming to a level that the church says that there is a state capture within the institutions that are supposed to manage this country. And one of the institutions that is captured is IEBC. When are you going to come out of that and be people who are going to set this country free? Even preventing the current president If he is involved in corruption, if he is involved in bribery to contest the presidency, because if you can bind that you have the rules that you can use actually to give these politicians the level of bribery will come down. What you can hear is only DC, they go and give the money at DC.
Thank you. I don't know kama tumekuja kwa watu wenye wameweza kufunga sauti, so jani kama haijikuli.
Kindly allow me to respond to a question, because when you pile those questions, I may not give the right response.
Okay.
In addition to that, it's not a question, it's just what he has said. She said that the polling station reports and what gets to them, it is final. But I wanted to ask her whether she is aware that maybe the theft and whatever that is done is still done in the polling station, whereby I will be required to hire an agent, and yet someone else will come and bribe the very same agent that I hired to just exit, and then they come in and they do what they want. At the high EBC office,
Ethics and anti-corruption offices, which deals with those cases, they have never brought the cases to the commission. Now, how will we deal with the individuals? So you know now, yes, you can tell us now, we say this candidate is not valid for this election, but we cannot invalidate a candidate on the basis of years. And remember, we are 2 employees of the commission in one constituency. Will we be able to monitor more than 50 people? And how? And remember, most of the time, we are not posted in our local area. Like today I'm in Meru, maybe come next election, I will be in Nyanza. Even the language itself, it's a problem. Then there is this issue which my sister has raised here. Agents being bribed. Kamami, can I ask you, in our polling station, how many agents do we have, and how many elective positions do we have? It is simple. How many elective positions do we have?
6.
And probably how many candidates are contesting?
Very many.
So many. At the end of the day, even if your agent is bribed, there are other agents who are remaining during the process of counting. And then they will have to sign the Form A that they were there during counting and the announcement of those results. So I think us as a commission,
Does it make it as a perception or is a reality?
it is a perception.
No,
People
but
perceive that.
let me give you a scenario. Actually,
Yes.
there is no issue of a witness or what. These days, these people come with the meeting. They tell you to line up. What are they giving up?
So,
It's not a bribe.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Just allow me, I now give directions here so that we can head, because we have other sessions that also are on the program, and we don't want to elude them. So I will allow Reverend to ask his question, and then whoever answers the question closes this session. Seriously?
There's a question from our lady. I reserve
Okay.
your attention, this lady.
I think mine goes to, mine is one input and another question goes to Deputy County Commissioner about Coons, and it's not around. And maybe about IBC, I do concur with the officer. Most of the time as NCCK we have been observers. Unajua wakati wanahesabu kura, I fail to understand wakati watu wanasema kura inaibiwa. Wakati wanahesabu wanasema moja, wanaweka chini, mbili. Sometimes hata kabla hatujapeleka kura, wale wako mali zingine wanakupigia kura, wanasema ni ngapi? Mwingine alituambia kama tumeshindwa. That means wakati hiyo ni yetu tu ndio umebaki, ni kama wamerudisha wote pamoja kabla IBC hawajafanya. So sasa aliuliza one of the agent ya yule governor. Mimi nikiwa karibu nasikia lugha. Alisema hesabu ni ngapi? Alipomwambiwa agent si IBC, alisema tumeshinda kwa sababu ni kama wamerudisha yote ya county pamoja. So sometimes vile anasema ni kweli. So hata ukilaumu agent wako kwa sababu kuiba kula si rahisi.
Ya pili nikiongezea kwa Jackie, ilikuwa na ofisa wa NCCK na ilikuwa station ya Maua Methodist. Na vile ofisa anasema na kile na kwamba pia hata kama kwingine kunaibiwa hapo, all the agents walikuwa, officers walikuwa from the different departments. Na wakati nimaliza wakati wa asubuhi tulikuwa hapo tukapiga picha, kwa sababu nakumbuka Jennifer alikuwa ametutupia akombo ile tulikuwa tunajibu maswali wakati wa kuingia ni nini inaendelea, scenario zile zinafanyika hapo, we are there. Wakati nimaliza kupigwa pia ilifungwa na silinda na simeni, na kila mtu akaona from different agents, wote wale walikuwa mahali. Na wakati wa kufungua ili anze kuhesabiwa aliuliza agent wa aspirant A hapo hapa, ndio akasema je, wabili watatu wote wakawa hapo. So ikawa ni wakati wa kufanya nini, kufungua, na ilihesabiwa yote, na hiyo anasemea form hii mpaka agent hiyo, kama mambo anasema simkosoi, lakini anasaini kusema ya kwamba ule mwenye alinituma amepata kura hizi. Sasa inakuwa tena imeibiwa na yule, kwa sababu tulikubaliwa mpaka kupiga picha na tukatuma kwa nini zetu. Kwa hivyo kama kuna wengine kunaibiwa, sijui ni form gani.
Copy inawekwa kwa mlango nje for public viewing. Yes. The copy of the same form A inawekwa nje for public viewing.
Yeah, so nashindwa, labda tuambiwe kama kuna watu wengine. But they are doing a good job.
Because and over what you are saying is true, both sides. Ulisikia hata Junet Mohamed akiambiwa yeye ndiye alikula pesa ya agents. The way and politicians are lying, and they will use that, and they will use what our young person is saying. But it is true what our sister in IBC is also telling us. So when we go for your groups to say clearly how we manage to deal with the problem of politicians in your county, we want it to be relevant. And we'll support you right now. You say 2022 Jennifer tutafanya. Hata saa hii Fidel ataonyesha. So that we support, and especially the church level. We support the young people, we support women. There is no nation. Yes. Support women.
Ukiangalia nowadays Kiranji should be non-partisan. Siku hizi wameenda kuna 1 term, 2 term. Kweli ama uongo? Angalia tunaenda state. Uliona vile wakibakiranji wengine walienda huko. Kwani unafikiri wanaimba wimbo gani?
Hata wale
si tunapomoa sasa madhabahu. Very good. Mimi tunasaidia maindia kama vile anasema ni kweli. Ukimwangalia hivyo, uangalie women rep wale wanataka viti. Tuko na wengi. Utamdharau. Unaelewa vile nasema? Tulijikunja na hii awamu zetu.
tuko kwetu wewe. Kunaye alikuwa anaenda na pikipiki na akienda na baiskeli, lakini alidharauli na pengine ndiye ako na maono for the leadership. Women, watu wa Meru ama hapa Eastern, wanawake wanaogopa. We are the monitors. Like now, campaign they have not started. AIBC, ukweli ama uongo. Lakini watu wamevunguliwa. Nani amestakiwa? Kunayo. Si lazima hata wewe ufuatane na hiyo group. So, ulisikia our former Minister of Agriculture alitopoa siri. Walikuwa na 100 million plus ikawa 1.7 ili wabomoe hii bishop gavana Kawira. Kwani kuna mwanamke atajaribu inimele? Na nini wanaume? Niko kwa sali msasa. Wanaume kukiketi kuna 1.7 million. Kwani kuna mtu atajaribu kutupa pesa yake? Jua kiingia hivi, kata inaingia. Hii ingine ni ya matusi. IBC hawaingii mambo ya matusi. Tuna debate nyinyi, lakini matusi iko mingi. Kama sasa hivi nimeangalia kwa media kuna mtu amepimiwa microphone ile ninaongea amepimiwa. Tu ameanza kuita wanawake warohi. Email. Sasa IBC mko wapi? Hiyo ingine ni mambo ya presiding officers. Tukiwa watu wa NCCK. Presiding officers IBC wanalala. Sijui vile mmesikia. Mimi nilikuwa hapa 2000. Anasema njana tulilala kazi kuendea masanduku ni give presiding officer time ili waweze kuchunga nini kutusaidia kwa kula. Vile unasema agent sio kununuliwa, wananunuliwa ni vile walipwi. Unakuta kuliamka huko 6 ukikubali kulipwa unasema mimi nimeenda hapo nilipa. Kunaye alituacha hapo akatuambia atoeni county kwa my ni agent wa Soma District Mtanji.
Hiyo signature after imesainiwa na nani ya hiyo after?
Na alienda alisema kulivyo aliletewa mkate na soda. Sasa nikauliza IBC saa hii tunamblame nani? We cannot blame IBC. Ni sisi makiachi. We ourselves. Bishop usiingilia kusema tufanye nini? We need to stop corruption. Sasa tuingie ndani ili tuweze kutafuta root leader. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Thank you for our panelists. I think tunaweza kuketi. Asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki.
What I respond to that, Kenyan citizens don't know we have various commissions and is in a regulate various acts. See at the IBC in a regulate sijui financing, sijui matusi. We have a commission, the national integrations and something that is in charge of it is the responsibility. It is not the responsibility of IEBC. Our mandate is only to conduct institution elections and the country election. Any election in the country is our mandate. Lakini vitu zingine we have other commissions zenye ziko tasked with that responsibility. Like EACC is there for corruption. It is not the commission task. Sawa.
That's why we need civic education.
Sisi hizo commissions zilikuwa formed by the constitution. Sasa si our responsibility. Sasa utasikia kila mtu anarusha mpira kwa IBC. We don't look to other commissions. Thank you.
Thank you. Asanteni sana. Thank you Media Council for being around here. Tuwapigie makofi tafadhali. Asante sana the political class. Amam. Hello. Asante sana IBC for coming around. Thank you the church. The simple. Asante sana kwa bariki. The media amekuwa hapa. And the administration was always be around. I know there are some things that have not been answered so well, but we will be here till the day ends. Tomorrow also will be here. So in the process, in those group discussions, some of these issues will be interrogated because at the end of the day, we want what can be best to ensure that 2027 we have what we don't have. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki.